Dear Ministers Dimas and Marinakis, dear Presidents, ladies and gentlemen, it's a honor to be with you because we are on the right track. If we look into the future, what are the real issues where we have to take care? Not very long time ago, I was in an engineering school where they, in the last record to make their final degree, and approximately 200 people, and I asked them, can somebody explain what CO2 is? And they all looked to me and astonished, nobody showed their hand. So I said, can you tell me how much CO2 is in the air? And I teased them and said, is it 20, 60, or 80%? No comment. And then I said, maybe you should guess. And one of the guys says, 60%. I said, you know, the truth is it's parts per millions. Huh? And CO2 is very important for our daily living. And when I then came to the area of water and said, who had contact with water today, all of them showed their hand. And that was a very good experience for me as a politician to think about what is really the need of education for the future. And I think it's very clear that we need the people to understand how important the daily life needs are. And we have the privilege to have water, food, and energy. So I thought for the next 7 years on European level, we should concentrate on the real issues, because without water you can live maybe 3 days. Without food, some days. Without energy, it will be difficult. But to come to the overall policy, I thought as a politician you have to communicate, and that was the reason why I asked a lot of very good experts to tell me what do they think, what should Europe do within the next 7 years? Where is the priority? And the conclusion was, yes, we have to communicate that water should be a priority. And that's the reason why I published the book. I gave it free of charge to the staff of the European Commission and everybody who has a say on what Europe can do. And you know, Laurentio brought it very good to the point, because also the Economic and Social Committee, which normally people don't know what they are doing in Brussels, but they also don't know what European Parliament is doing or the Commission. I only can tell you within the last 5 years, Europe decided to come up with 13,000 legal acts. So it's heavy intensive what's done on Brussels level, but we should be responsible to ask for the right targets. And that's our job, to convince the people who are responsible, and that's done as well in the Economic and Social Committee. We ask for a commissioner for water. A lot of people said, yeah, no chance, water, we have it. And we ask for a knowledge innovation community in the European Institute of Technology for water, startups, scale-ups, spin-offs, and higher education. Because education is a key in being successful. And to understand overall what is water, we should see to the globe. We have 75% on salt water. We have 25% on land, but only 2.5% on fresh water. And if we look to the globe, where is the maximum on water available? Yes, it's in Brazil. Brazil has overall 13% of the world fresh water. Russia has 18% of the fresh water. Canada, 6% of fresh water. US, 8% of fresh water. I could go on. but Europe has less than 1%. So we know freshwater is an overall global agenda, and if you see to the conflict between India and Pakistan, water is the issue. If you see the conflict in Ukraine, if they blow up a dam to make a lot of area not possible to move on, water could be a very important weapon as well. So being prepared that water is something which is not automatically with us. We see that from the World Meteorological Organization that we have areas where the rain brings a lot of water, like in Colombia, 3,240 millimeter, in Germany 700 millimeter, and in Egypt 51 millimeter. So it's very crucial to collect the water like the Romans did, and Rutelli will tell us about the situation, hopefully also in Italy, but the cisterns, the aqueducts, all of this, in ancient time, it was necessary to survive. And therefore it's clear that water is a common good. I had also debates with trade unions, with the NGOs, and through 20 years of European Parliament, I'm used to speak with other opinions and try to find good compromises. But one of the big issues is the water price. And if you see the water price, it's not only the water price, it's also the water taxation. Because for every mayor, water is a very good source of income, because everything which is added to the costs is, of course, to distribute for other issues. And as an example, in Denmark, the price is 7.6 euro per cubic meter, and in Saudi Arabia, it's really nice to have 0.03. So the cheapest water price is in Saudi Arabia, where they have real problems with water, and Denmark has the higher price. So you see that water pricing, of course, is very important for the return on investment. So if you have a good return of an investment, of course, it's good to do it. If you look to the water in the restaurant, and if you order 1 liter of water, maybe it's 5 euros. If you put water out of the pipe, maybe between United Kingdom and Denmark, 1 cubic meter is 5 euro. So you have 1 liter in the restaurant for 5 euro and 1 cubic meter on the pipe with 5 euro. So it means there is a threshold of multiplier of 1,000. Tell me products in the world where the multiplier is 1,000. So therefore, we have to see, are we ready to invest? We also asked from the Economic and Social Committee to come up with a blue fund. I think for the next multi-annual framework program, we need a dedicated area where the investment in blue infrastructure gets a priority. Also within the European Investment Bank, the European Investment Fund. So we need the whole basket of the financial power to get it done. And I think to get it done is the most important question for the next time. Water Europe estimated that we need the annual capital investment in water supply in European Union will need to increase from 60 billion euro to 90 billion euro per year. So you see, it's a huge area where we could be active, where we could transform the power of our economic situation, not only within Europe. It's a global adventure, and I think we should be part of this adventure because Europe is a leading area in the construction business, and we can really perform in a very good way. So how will be the demand on water? We know the electricity demand maybe will climb up till 2050 3 to 5-fold. What is with water in the data management? We need approximately 60 million cubic meter of water for data centers. And data centers are growing dramatically. So the cooling of the data center is a higher problem than getting the electricity for the data center. If you see the bitcoins, if you produce bitcoins, a lot of data servers couldn't be built because there is not the cooling capacity there. So you need a huge energy to produce the virtual money, and therefore water will play a key role. And the data centers grow by 8% per year, so it's quite interesting that this will be a core development. You all know agriculture and food processing. Also there, 60 billion cubic meter will be necessary, and smart technologies should come up. I think energy and water is key. The production of hydrogen. For 1 kilogram of hydrogen, you need approximately 10 to 12 liters of water. So if you see what the estimate on hydrogen is, and you know I'm an engineer as well, and I know how complicated hydrogen is, and it's not unlimited go in this area, but for storage of energy, of course, hydrogen can play a big role, and especially for the production of green steel, hydrogen is definitely necessary. So let's see how this will come. We also know semiconductors. So semiconductors are crucial. We want to go up from 10 to 20% in the production of semiconductors. So we need 45 million ultra-pure water. You know, I'm also invested in a company who is working in this area, so I'm also in the daily business of water, and that gives the impression that we have to do much more. The public awareness is there, and that's the reason why I produced this movie, to come out with a rollout to get a better understanding how important water is. So we have, of course, examples for green investments in the water sector. I would say not green investments, now we call it blue investments, because blue investments in drinking water, in improving leakage management, saving reuse and water efficient technologies, wastewater collection and treatment for infrastructure, putting out chemical substances. So it's a lot in this area to do, and we know that water storage will be a key issue, and outdated infrastructures has to be repaired, and therefore water infrastructure services will grow and will have synergies between different areas. So what should we do, and what can we all together do? Ensure long-term financing, tariffs, taxes, transfers, implementation of polluter pays principle, still a big debate. Invest first where the more environmental benefit is there. I would say adding economic benefit, return on investment is quite important. And try to get energy neutrality because that's key for the future. I also show you the legislation which is at place at present. We have a drinking water directive, a floods directive, a nitrates directive, a sewage sludge directive, a urban wastewater treatment directive, a water framework directive, an environmental quality standards directive, an industrial emissions directive, a passing water directive, a groundwater directive, a water reuse regulation, and a pharmaceutical strategy. So you see the European Union has done a lot of work, but I think we all lost the details. It's not possible that these regulations all fit together. So I think for the Economic and Social Committee we will propose to install artificial intelligence to get a streamlined legislation where the main purpose is to give incentives to be active in this area, because incentives is this which makes us moving, and I think that's where we should fight for, and therefore I wish you all the best. You see, the business case is open. You have to do it. Thank you.
Remember this.
Where I live in Belgium, that there is a water drought.
Think of the civil war in Syria. The reason for it, the starting point, was water scarcity in a certain region.
This small little activity that we do at our home level is something that if everybody did, we would all be saving an enormous amount of water.
That pushes forward with new technologies. And in China, let's take Shenzhen as an example. It is a massive city where no bus runs on fossil fuels. Some of these buses are even autonomous driving.
Parts of the climate change can be reversed. With the right technology, behaviors and awareness, we can actually make a difference.
The idea of going from small scale to large scale also requires really systemic changes. That means that society needs to be on board. When we talk about nature-based solutions, it's making sure that society, us as we walk in the street, understand what that means. That to have a forest growing in a certain area within the city is a positive thing. It provides shade, it provides more ground where the water can infiltrate.
We find solutions to take it out, but if we don't put it in there, it would help a lot.
I recently heard somebody saying, if people are hungry, they start fighting. If people are thirsty, they start moving.
The United Nations, from my point of view, must take the global lead, on water as a critical issue, because we know it's a big problem for Europe, it's a challenge for Europe, but it's a much bigger challenge for other regions in the world.